Welcome back to What's going on, guys? Welcome back to In today's video, we're going to be installing a suspension and some spacers and some endings. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah. What I said, but slower. We're going to be installing some coilovers, testing some spacers, putting some new end links on the newly acquired diesel, which I showed you guys in the previous video. Car has 60,000 miles and front right shock is already blown, which I mean, I expected because it is OEM and it's never been changed, I don't think. So what we're going to be installing is some ST coilovers, front and rear. You have the nice yellow springs. You have rear adjusters. Front adjustment is done through here. We're gonna go max low, like always. So we're just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. And you get the point. So front and rear coilovers. Then we have some spacers, different sizes. I have a 20 mil, 10 mil, and 7.5 mil. I just have random spacers because we're just gonna test them out. And I also got some white line end links. These are, I guess you could say, the most perfect setup for a street, not too aggressive, but you wanna look low type of coilover. There's also, in the same video, we're gonna be installing coilovers on the wagon, which currently has BCs that ride like absolute dog shit. And we're gonna switch those out to XTA coilovers, which are the same essentially coilover, but it has a top hat adjustment and there's a little bit more adjustment as far as dampening, I believe. So that's like more of a track oriented setup, and this is more of a daily setup. That car will get XTAs, this car will get X's, which is what these are. And then you have the XAs, which have different springs up front. I don't think the rears change, but the front springs change on the XAs. And then you have the full track XTA pluses, which are really expensive, but they're also meant for track only use, usually. So, street, and then the wagon will get Street Plus. Install wise, pretty simple. Front struts, rear struts, they come off pretty easy. I think we can knock out the whole install in like an hour plus adjustment. And then we'll show you guys what it looks like. It's not a DIY video. It's more like I'm showing you what I'm doing to the car. So if you want a DIY, this is not it. And as far as getting these coilovers, you can get them at vehiclevirals.com. Link down in the description, also should be on the screen. And you can also get these end links through the same website. So I'll leave the links down in the description below for everything that I'm using, along with the spacers and the bolts and things like that. So let's put this beautiful turd on the up in the air, take off the wheels, and we'll start taking off the front struts. Carvana really knows how to put on lug nuts because those are tight as hell. Damn, look at this BMW tech. They don't work on these. Fresh.
Well,
you just have to move it out of the way.
okay, I'll bet.
That's right, I ain't helping you. Yeah, it didn't come down.
No,
but it will come down when you do the other side.
Okay.
So I'll hold the other side while you take that side off.
Just hold both sides.
Yeah, pro tip, you want to hold the strut when you take off the bolts because it will drop down and probably hit your fender. So I'm just grabbing it right here Oh, bad lighting. And you just support it.
We're coming down.
Yeah. It did not move at all. Wow.
Neither did this one.
That's crazy. Okay. Well, let's see if the strut drops after we take off this end link. And it didn't. Ow. So that's interesting. Every single E90 I've done in the past, as soon as you take off both strut mount bolts, the strut usually tends to go down. In this case it didn't, so we're gonna loosen this lower control arm bolt, an 18 mil, and it'll probably give us enough slack to tilt it downwards, get the bolt off, and then remove the strut. And then after that we have to take off the top hat. Cheers. Oh God. So if you're doing just coilovers, you don't need to remove those, but since I'm doing the end links, obviously I have to remove it. And like I said, we loosened the 18 over here, and now the strut is down. And all we gotta do is feed it through. Make sure you don't hit your fender. That is the #1 mistake everybody makes. They hit the fender right by the lip, and it makes a crease on the outside. Doesn't look pretty. So yeah, we're gonna do that and take out the strut. So we're gonna pretend that I used a spring compressor and I got the top hats off. So to take off top hats, you just have to loosen the top bolt. Make sure you have the spring in the spring compressor. I'm not gonna show you what I did, but you get the idea. And then after you do that, it is very simple. You take your big spring, install your big spring, and take this piece, which holds the spring, install it in the correct orientation, which would be this. Then you take your washer. It's like a nipple. So the nipple is facing upwards. Just pretend that it's a nipple. And then put this piece on. Then you put your bolt on, or a nut, and you tighten your coilover. And that is it. That is complete coilover for one side. Same process for the other side, and then install wise, do the reverse of uninstall. Welcome back to the channel. So as far as installing, like I said, reverse of uninstall, aka line up your dowel, insert in, make sure it bottoms out on this, and then you take out your thingy majig. Usually gets stuck in there, so you might have to help it. So once you get that out, you can either put the strut in, or you can take your bracket for your, this would be your wheel speed sensor, put that in, put your bolt, and tighten the whole assembly. Usually the strut gets stuck in there and it doesn't move, so you can put it up and then put the bolts in, but I usually try to do this in case this comes up for some reason, so you can secure it on there and there's no height difference. We went with low, as you can see. I don't know how low it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be pretty low with this setting. And the spring does have a little bit of movement right now. Everything is installed. Took us about 20 minutes to do everything. The only thing we have to do is apply some load to this lower control arm and then tighten the 18 mil, because without that you will rip the rubber bushing and it will wear faster. And then as we're doing that, we're also going to install the sway bar end link at the same time, so we can have the right preload on that as well. Action. So to tighten these end links is kind of a pain in the ass. Sometimes you can use a gun, but most of the times you have to put an Allen inside of it and then hold it with a 17 on the outside. And what is going on? Why is it? Oh, because I'm going the wrong direction. Makes sense. So you just do this for however long it takes. Or you can get a ratcheting 17 or turn the 17. Either way, it will work. And once that's done, you just adjust the arms to your liking, and after that, lock them. They have two 17s on each side. And like I said, these are white line end links. You can get them from the website, just like these coilovers. So the front end is all done. Everything is tight. As far as the rear end goes, you do have to rip apart your carpet and the trunk. There's a couple of clips just to get to the top of the strut bolt. You can't really show it to you because there's not enough space in there. So we try to take off as minimum as possible in the trunk. But as far as the bottom goes, we're gonna loosen this control arm, loosen the strut mount, loosen that, and then rip this whole thing off. So as far as the rears go, when you install this, very important, remove the nipple. There's a lot of nipples on this car, but you have to remove this. Don't install your spring this way and then put the adjuster on the bottom. Do not do that. Your car will not go low enough. So you put the adjuster up top. You take this rubber bushing that's underneath right here, just like OEM, slide the spring in there, and then you just take it like this. Make sure you put it in the right position, because it can go one or the other way. Let me see if I can figure this out. All right, so that one goes this way. Okay, so do that and then slide it in. There you go. Your adjuster has to be on top, and then your bushing or whatever spring seat on the bottom. And then you insert the new strut. Yes. It's all done. So 21, E12, and a 17 mil. All that stuff is tight. We have the spring with the bushing on the bottom, and then we have the strut with this thing. This goes on the OEM. It's not supposed to turn because we don't have the bolts tight up top. And then you have the adjuster up here. So if you wanted to lower the car, all you have to do is just turn this. Usually you have to drop the subframe, or not subframe, the control arm, because there's too much preload on the spring. Front is a little bit easier as far as adjustment, because all you have to do is just turn the ring. But the rear, I suggest taking this off or sagging it so you can get the preload off and then lower the car or raise the car. Now we're just gonna tighten the top, put the car down, put some spacers on, and we in business. So this turd is done. We did, instead of doing 20 mil spacers in the back, we did 15. So it's 15 all around with extended studs, obviously, because the 20s were too big and it was shaking on the road when we put 7.5s. I don't know why. So now I just got new 15-inch rears, which I got from Amazon, 2-day shipping. Good shit. And they work, because the front ones have the same ones. So 15 all around, car's done. Front, we raised the front a little bit. Rear, I left it the same. It looks pretty good. I think I'll play around with the suspension later on, but for now it's pretty good. I won't show you the full, I guess, result until we finish that car, which is the E91. We already did the front. It's got XTAs, not the X's, because the X's are in that car, which are the base. XTAs have camera plates, like I said in the beginning of the video, and we also have white line end links, just like that car. Camber adjustment is kind of important on this car because we are going to be running pretty low, and when I had the BCs on this car, it was maxed out as far as camber goes, so I can clear steering. Here are the BCs. Clapped, but they did the job. We are in the process of installing the rears. The issue we had is, one, the BCs. This part was different. It doesn't accept the OEM parts because the sleeve is different on BCs versus this. Two, BC springs don't use this rubber mount on the bottom. They have their own flat rubber mount. So we had to steal these and the top parts off of the E92, which was already going to get these coilovers. So we're going to go ahead and finish installing these. I'm going to show you guys both cars. The E92, not going to show you, you'll probably see in the background, but the BCs will go on the E92. Same process as these two other cars. But cheers!